Conspiracy theories are not new. They are probably persistently present in all societies, in all cultures. And the ones that we are more familiar here with in the United States are the things that are revolved around the New World Order, Freemasons, Illuminatis, and certainly more funnier ones or entertaining ones, the aliens and UFO, and Elvis lives. Amongst them, the reason that conspiracy theories exist is whenever there is a situation to which there is no answer, people usually try to find a particular way to explain how those things happen, and well, conspiracy theories are born. And certainly amongst more challenging conspiracy theories and or the ones that take to the root is being able to explain some of those realities that take place in our world right now. So for example, why did 9/11 happen? The official answer is probably not going to be sufficient, so therefore people go and create, because well, there is an insufficient answer from the officials to be able to articulate why exactly something of that horrific nature takes place, and etc. A continuation of any kind of reaction. Or COVID. It would be very difficult for people to simply explain or embrace the idea of why COVID has taken place, and so therefore we're going to be looking into the conspiracy theories of this government or the other government engaging in it. And certainly the one that takes the cake most of all is the one that is becoming more and more popular, which is QAnon, and which is basically the focus of the cannibalistic pedophiles, right, who run a child sex trafficking ring. And here's the funny thing, and it's not like a ha-ha funny, but it's more of a practical funny. So basically, there is this ring of cannibalistic pedophiles who run a child sex trafficking ring, right? And they're hidden into the government. But they don't need to be hidden. They can move to any one of the 34 states and get themselves a child bride, right? Like, and here's the problem: we still allow child brides in those 34 states. So which means there is no need for the conspiracy to be persistent. I mean, heck, that's the harsh reality. In the last decade and a half, there has been over 240,000, primarily little children and girls who have been married, right? Like, and that was under the purview of the law, but and we've allowed those kinds of stuff to happen. There is no need for conspiracy. Epstein was not a conspiracy. Epstein was a pedophile that was permitted to be a pedophile because it was necessary for those who were his friends to be able to close their eyes at the fact that he's hanging out with 13, 14, 15-year-olds, okay? And everybody who okayed it and everybody who was normalizing it was not part of some conspiracy. They were just pedophiles themselves, which incidentally is a continuation of the belief that all of a sudden we need to be able to stop it. And who's going to stop it, right? Like Trump is going to be stopping it, the one who's grabbing it, or Gaetz is going to be stopping it, who's paying for it, right? Like, or Clinton is going to stop it, who just got off by touching it, or Biden is going to stop it, who was, I don't know, sniffing it, but, you know, not anymore because he realized that you shouldn't sniff people without their permission, right? And all of that is not a conspiracy. All of that is reality that is taking place. But because people don't want to look at those realities, they are going to be manufacturing those information and putting them together and be able to say, well, look, here's why there is a conspiracy. The reason that there is no reason to believe in conspiracies is any number of things that we have done as a country. And just as I said in the beginning, if the conspiracy theories are not unique to the United States, neither is the shitty things that people do, which means this, among multiple of other things, is probably going to be reflective of any other country. Like, for example, Tuskegee experiment, right? Like, we give people, specifically black people, syphilis, and we tell them that they're treated, and for 40 years we look at how this disease hurts them and kills them by lying to them, when we could have cured, when the experiment started in the 30s, the penicillin went into the effect in 47. That could have been not a problem. It could have been treated. We chose not to. As a government, there was no need for a great conspiracy. It was just evil people doing evil stuff. Or Contra, right? Like funding Nicaraguan death squads in 1980s. And why am I even going into the 1980s? Like, think about it, right? In 1954, Guatemala. In 1961, Bay of Pigs. just if you don't remember that one, we sent a bunch of people to get slaughtered. 1964 in Brazil, right? Like 1965 Dominican Republic, in 1970s Operation Condor, mass murdering of people, right? I don't know, Salvador Allende in Chile, Grenada in 1983, and 1989 Panama, right? Like we're going to go get Noriega and kill a couple of thousand Panamanians, shrug our shoulders and say, oh, well, this is like, there's no need for conspiracy. What is needed is reading comprehension. Reading comprehension. Reading comprehension. People need to read and they need to comprehend what they're reading. If that happens, of course, we're going to continue. We would be able to say, look, you know what? What you're saying, what you're selling, what you're presenting is BS. And maybe we would be able to stop it, because you know there is a bunch of stuff that is happening that does not need to follow any particular conspiracy. Like, for example, United States and Soviet Union, or sorry, Russia right now are going to go in a different ways in the Open Skies Treaty. Why? Because now they're no longer going to be monitoring each other arms movements. And here's the funny part, right? Like in I want to say in 1980s, Reagan and Gorbachev were trying to come to an agreement because the Soviet Union was coming to an end in how to ensure that we're going to make sure that the countries don't go in war against one another. And there was open sky treaties, and there was intermediate and nuclear weapons cutback, START treaty. All those treaties are little by little are being taken away. And does anybody care? Is anybody concerned with it? No, of course they're not. You know why? Because it's much easier for them to talk about the cannibalistic pedophiles rather than talking about the pedophile that lives next door to them and the state courthouse that allows that pedophile to get married. Now, if we were to be able to actually do some little bit of a reading comprehension, we would be able to stop some of those things and also stop obsessing over idiocies rather than, like, you know, if you want to pursue UFOs, bless you. At least you learn a little bit of science and will be less likely to believe into flat earth.